Exponents and Division.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Man, it doesn't show.
Today's lesson is Exponents and Division. We're going to divide expressions containing exponents, and we're going to simplify expressions with integer exponents. Our Indiana Academic Standard is 8.1.5. Dividing powers with the same base. To divide numbers or variables with the same non-zero base, subtract the exponents. If we take a look at the arithmetic example, we have 4 to the 5th over 4 to the 2nd. We could simplify it by stating 4 to the 5th minus 2, or 4 to the 3rd. We can prove this by writing out what 4 to the 5th is. That is 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 over 4 to the 2nd, which is 4 times 4. Now we can cancel out 2 4s on the top and 2 4s on the bottom, so we end up with 4 to the 3rd on the top, which means our answer is 4 to the 3rd. For the algebra example, we have a to the m over a to the n. To simplify this, we would simply have a to the m minus n. For a equals a non-zero number and a positive integers for m and n. When you have 0 as an exponent, when you have 0 to an exponent, it always equals 1. So 3 to the 0 is 1. A to the 0 is also 1. Again, anytime you have a 0 power, the answer is 1. When you have negative exponents, you have to simplify this and get rid of that negative on the exponent. The way you do that is take whatever it is to that power. So if we have 3 to the negative 2, we're going to write 3 to the 2 on the bottom of a fraction and put 1 on top. We just put 1 on the top and then whatever the power and base is on the bottom and eliminate the negative on the power. If you have a to the negative n power, it would be 1 over a to the n. We're going to try another example. We're going to try 4 to the negative 3rd power. That means you have a 1 on the top and 4 to the 3rd power on the bottom. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to copy down the notes. Don't forget, you have to have a question for class tomorrow, so be sure as you go through the lesson, if there's something that you don't understand, write it down and we'll talk about it in class. Example 1, dividing a power by a power. Simplify each expression. In 1a, we have 4 to the 12th power divided by 4 to the 8th power. You can do this by taking the exponents and subtracting. So you would have 4 to the 12 minus 8, or 4 to the 4th. 4 to the 4th equals 256. 1b, w to the 18th divided by w to the 13th. You can solve this by taking w to the 18th minus 13th. So we end up with w to the 5th. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to copy down the notes. Don't forget, you have to have a question for class tomorrow, so be sure as you go through the lesson, if there's something that you don't understand, write it down and we'll talk about it in class. Try the quick check problems on your own. Pause the video, work the problems, start the video again to check your work. 1a, 10 to the 7th divided by 10 to the 4th. That would be 10 to the 3rd, which equals 1,000. X to the 25th divided by x to the 18th. That equals x to the 7th. 12m to the 5th divided by 3m. Well, 12 divided by 3 is 4, and m to the 5th divided by m is m to the 4th. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to copy down the notes. Don't forget, you have to have a question for class tomorrow, so be sure as you go through the lesson, if there's something that you don't understand, write it down and we'll talk about it in class. Simplifying when 0 is an exponent. Simplify each expression. Negative 12 to the 73rd power divided by negative 12 to the 73rd power. Well, we can use our rules for exponents and have negative 12 to the 73rd minus 73rd, which is negative 12 to the 0, which equals 1. Now that may be a little bit confusing, but let's look back at the original division problem. Negative 12 to the 73rd power divided by negative 12 to the 73rd power. When you take something and divide it by itself, you get 1. So it logically makes sense that a power to the 0 power equals 1. On example 2b, we have 8s to the 20th divided by 32s to the 20th. We can split this problem apart a little bit, and we can have 8 over 32 and then s to the 0 power. Well, 8 over 32 simplifies to 1/4, and s to the 0 power simplifies to 1. So we end up with an answer of 1/4. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to copy down the notes. Don't forget, you have to have a question for class tomorrow, so be sure as you go through the lesson, if there's something that you don't understand, write it down and we'll talk about it in class. For number 3, using positive exponents, simplify z to the 4th over z to the 15th. Well, z to the 4th over z to the 15th would be z to the 4 minus 15, which would give us z to the negative 11. Well, z to the negative 11 equals 1 over z to the 11th. If we'd write out the problem, we'd have z times z times z times z over z times 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 z. Well, we could cross out 4 z's on the top and 4 z's on the bottom. On the top, we'd be left with 1, and on the bottom, we'd be left with z to the 11th. We've done problems like that before. We're just showing you a shortcut method by showing you that a base to a negative power actually equals 1 over that base to the positive power. On example number 4, using negative exponents, write a to the 2nd, b to the 3rd over a b to the 15th without a fraction bar. If we're not going to have a fraction bar, then we're probably going to have a negative exponent with this example. So first we deal with the a's. We have a to the 2nd divided by a. So that's going to be a to the 2nd minus 1. For the b's, we're going to have b to the 3rd minus 15. Well, a to the 2nd minus 1 would be just a, because 2 minus 1 is 1. So that's just a. B to the third minus 15 would be negative 12. So our final answer is a b to the negative 12. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to copy down the notes. Don't forget, you have to have a question for class tomorrow, so be sure as you go through the lesson, if there's something that you don't understand, write it down and we'll talk about it in class. Now I'd like you to try the quick check on your own. Do the number 2 first, A, B, C, and D. Pause the video, try them, then start the video again and check your work. Then we'll do number 3. Number 2A is 1, B is 5, C is y to the 3rd, and D is 1/5. If you have a question about any of those, mark it and ask it about it in class tomorrow. Number 3A is b to the negative 6. Example B is m to the negative 3rd, n to the negative 6th. And C is x to the negative 4th, y to the 2nd. If you have a question about any of those, mark it and ask it about it in class tomorrow. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to copy down the notes. Don't forget, you have to have a question for class tomorrow, so be sure as you go through the lesson, if there's something that you don't understand, write it down and we'll talk about it in class.
And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Man, it doesn't show